different way. How is everybody doing out there? What's happening? My name is Paul Maneras, and I'm going to be talking about crystal consciousness, Christ consciousness. Christ is just an allegory. The gematria for Christ equals 77. At the throat chakra, I have 77 mirrored. Whenever I read the Emerald Tablets and got to the part of the book whenever Thoth is describing being initiated into the halls of Amenti, he is introduced to the Lords of the Nine, the 3, the 4, the 5, the 6, the 7, the 8, and the 9. So I decided to put the 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 into the chakra system, where the 3 is with the 396 hertz at the root, the 4 is at the 417 hertz, the 5 is at the 528 hertz, the 6 is at the 639 hertz, the 7 is at 741 hertz, the 8 is at 852 hertz, and the 9 is at 963 hertz. So I mirrored these, and the 33, when I mirrored it and I flipped it 90 degrees, it looked like the ovaries. It made perfect sense. When I mirrored the 4, it was a 44, and then I mirrored the 55, and I mirrored the 5s, and we had 55, so on, so on, so on, all the way up to 99. So the gematria for sulfur, ion, a proton, A, the all mind from the Kabbalion, all equal 99. And what's gematria? Gematria is the numerical value on words. So A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, D is 4, and then there's simple gematria, English gematria, Jewish gematria, and whenever these words are lining up with certain frequencies and you're speaking these frequencies out, we're literally speaking frequency and turning frequency into energy, into vibration into energy. So the throat is made up of voice, sound, and resonance. That's 3. You have 2 twin triangular enfoldings in your throat. So there's 2, it's like a little Merkaba, 2 opposite triangles. So 3 edges, or 3 points times 2 is 6. And then you have your 9 cartilages of the larynx. So every time that we speak, you're speaking this 369 frequency just based off of the geometry and the mathematics of just your throat. So the throat chakra runs at 741 hertz. 741 hertz plus 369 equals 1110. 111 hertz is actually a solfeggio key, meaning that your crown chakra, 963 hertz, minus 111 equals 852 hertz. 852 hertz minus 111 equals 741 hertz. Pull the swords from the tones. You have 3 ones, those look like 3 swords. You're pulling those ones from the tones rather than the stones. The tone that the builder refused rather than the stone that the builder rejected and refused, you're actually refusing it by adding the 111. 852 hertz plus 111 equals 963 hertz. So let's see here. The math in an atom is 137.5. The gematria for ionization equals 808. The gematria for electron equals 303. So the gematria for twin flames equals 111 being your crown. So 111 divided by 137.5, the golden angle, the math in an atom, the number in photon absorption. That's what's happening when you're absorbing light. You're absorbing photonic light. So 808 or 1111 divided by 137.5 photon absorption equals 808 ionization. 111 minus 303 equals 808. ionization. I have 303 at the root chakra, and the gematria for electron equals 303. Earth-Moon ratio, 111 divided by 303 is equal to the Earth's diameter, 7,920 divided by 2160, the Moon's diameter, which makes it Earth-Moon ratio. It equals 3.666666. So, we're a piezoelectric crystal technology. We literally, our hair is piezoelectric. It's like a fiber optic crown, if you will. Our eyes are piezoelectric, have piezoelectric crystal properties. Our tissues, our muscles, our teeth, our bones, our DNA, our proteins. So, the hypothalamus chamber, where the pineal gland resides, it secretes an oil that is a protein, a polypeptide protein. These polypeptide proteins, you can look all this stuff up, it's online. It's just, you just have to go and research it and ask the right questions on there. But your hypothalamus gland secretes polypeptide proteins. Proteins are electron carriers. Electrons are photon carriers. Photons are light on a quantum level. So these proteins are carrying the electron, which are carrying the photon on a quantum level. Photons travel long distances through quantum tunneling. So this is a thought. This thought that you saw light reflecting off of an object, it's sending a message into your eyeball, into the back of your brain, and you're getting this idea that's inspiring you, and you're repeating this thought and thinking this thought for days now, and you're deciding, I want to become what I just saw. Like that person inspired me to do that same style thing, but throw my little niche on it and make it my own. So you have this thought, whatever idea it may be, you want to become, you want to master some new skill, you want to create and manifest something in your life, whatever it may be, you're obsessing over this thought. Thoughts repeated gain density. So this thing's spiraling down into the heart vacuum, going through the heart, down past the solar plexus, past the sacrum, into the roots of your soil, your negative space. It's being planted in your soil as a seed. This can feel like a death because you're trying to become something, and whenever it finally plants itself as a seed, that means that you're actually trying to do this, you're trying to become this. And whenever you're trying something brand new that is just a brand new idea, and you're not going to be good at it unless you're like one of those just super crazy talented people that just is gifted at everything. But most people have to work and put in the hours to master whatever new skill they're trying to acquire. So this thought repeated gains density, plants itself as a seed because it gains weight and density, plops itself down in the seed in your soil, and now you've been trying this thing and failing at it and researching, trying to be the best version of this new idea through all your failures. And after 100-something failures, you have all this experience of failing at this thing, and you're gaining emotions, you're getting happy, you're getting angry, you're getting sad, you're feeling fear, you're feeling all these things trying to create this thing. So once you actually create it and it becomes your energy, this one photon that was an electron being separated from an atom is now this idea being planted as a seed. Let's talk about whenever we're carbon beings. We have 6 protons, 6 neutrons, and 6 electrons within us. So we are carbon-based beings, and whenever we have this thought in our mind, we're separating the electron from the atom, and now this uncharged electron, it's not charged yet, but it's just an idea. Once it plants itself as a seed in your roots and sprouts into your sacrum, into your energy, into your 44, into your 417 hertz. That's your energy. That's your matter. Let me see if I can pull up. So this is my root chakra chart. Whenever that seed plants itself, it's planting itself down in here, and the U-turn symbol is symbolizing it being planted and U-turning and coming back up on the other side or on the back side of your chakra system. I have Libra down here symbolizing that same symbol as the U-turn, and the scales of the Libra being down here are actually your heart and mind weighing. You're weighing heart and mind on this idea, how much it's in your mind and how much it's in your actual heart, and how much do you love this, and how much is this like actually just everything to you. So once this thing sprouts up into your sacrum here, let me flip the slide to the next chakra. Whenever you mirror the 44, it literally creates the E that stands for emotion, energy. You flip this E upside down, it turns into an M. I have Virgo and Scorpio here, the only two M symbols. So energy, matter. I have 1166 hertz here and 1188 hertz on the other side. The Queen's chamber measures at 11.88 cubits on the base of the pyramid, and the base of the pyramid, or no, excuse me, the Queen's chamber measures 11.88 cubits, and the base of the pyramid measures 440 cubits as well. And then you have your lower basement, which is underneath the soil of the pyramid. On that last slide, the root chakra represents basically the basement, which is underneath the ground. So whenever you're looking within and you're knowing about all these spaces that are within you, you're basically you're able, when you know you have this root chakra space, you're able to go down there and clear out the basement, till the soil. All old versions of self are buried in the soil, and that's your compost for the new versions of self and all your seed plantings. This is basically your Garden of Eden. This is where your serpent and your Kundalini coiled snake is living. It's coiled up, ready to rise. So that protein that's being secreted in your hypothalamus gland, that's uncharged, it's an uncharged electron that's being ionized. You're separating the electron from the atom through ionization, and now this thought is just an idea, and once it plants itself as a seed, it's going down as silver oil, and whenever it sprouts itself and it's charged in your solar plexus, or let's say it goes up in your energy, into your emotions, into your matter, what matters most to you, now you're turning this thing that was once an idea into a new version of self. And your root chakra is the place where you plant the seeds and you kill off old versions of self. This is like this is where your Saturn lives, where your urn, your ashes, your soil. This is where your fire lives. The fire within is all your pain, all your failures, all of your lower self energy resides down here. So whenever you're planting a seed into your soil and it's unknown, you haven't really worked on this new seed yet, you have the fear of the unknown down here. So seeing one of the comments on there. Yeah, so whenever you're known of these areas within, you're able to go in and basically you have dimensions within. You're not just a mind in a meat suit regurgitating all these repeated ideas. You are a sovereign being, and whenever you go into your own meditation and you can clear out all your thoughts, all your feelings, all of your senses, and really tap in to source ideas, where whenever you're getting those ideas or thoughts that you're questioning, like, how could I even thought of that? Whenever you have those thoughts to where you're really genuinely questioning, your higher self is observing the mind and the feminine and masculine that's going on within, the feeling, the generation, and the thinker that's honoring those observations and those creations. So whenever you have that higher observer that's observing the two within, the masculine and the feminine, and then the Holy Trinity, that's actually you're creating and generating something within. It's a fractal of what's going on in the cosmos. Like we say that in the Kabbalion, the all is mind, and I want to do a little correction on the Kabbalion, because the all is mind. The A and the L of the alphabet, the first and the 12th letter, there's 12 notes in music, so the compass and the square in Freemasonry, the Kabbalion and the Emerald Tablets were definitely written by Masons, and there's a lot of truth to those books, and there's also a lot of half-truths. So with the all mind being the consciousness of the cosmos, I want to correct that. And if the all is mind, then that's saying that the cosmos is all like masculine thought and consciousness. It comes from the heart and the mind reciprocating in a marriage of creation and honoring each other. So I believe that the cosmos radiates from the heart mind, and the all mind honors the all mind, the 011 mind, which I call it the 011 mind, which is the all mind as well, because it's just O-L-L, and that's just basically the start of the Fibonacci sequence, and everything in nature is built off of that sequence. So that's literally, I believe that that's the true consciousness mind, is the 011 mind, which is the heart mind. The mind, the thought, this is just the receiver. This is your antenna. I have on my third eye audio chart, I have 808 drums. I also have 88 days in a Mercury year. Thoth is related to the planet Mercury. Taurus also has the same symbol as Mercury, but Mercury actually has the cross connecting to this, but this is the ox. Your ox in and your ox out. Auxiliary input, like into a stereo. You're a fiber optic being. You're literally receiving light in the form of frequency. We're turning it into vibration and then turning it into energy and matter that is our own. So whenever you can harness this energy, so you have this oil coming down, that's your electron carrier. Your electron is your photon carrier. Light on a quantum level, it's just an idea being planted in a seed. It's being sprouted up into your energy, into your matter, what matters most to you, and now you're manifesting this thing through your solar plexus. Now you're up at 528 hertz. Let me get this over here. 528 hertz is the only number that connects the electromagnetic color spectrum with the sound system of the universe, or the universe. So 528 hertz is the center of the electromagnetic color spectrum, being green. It starts out as yellow, but whenever it moves up into the DNA, that's when it turns into that green bioluminescent acoustic wave light. So the piezoelectric crystal vibrates at 32,768 beats per second. That's when sound ends in the human ear, and electrical ultrasonic acoustic waves begin connecting to the DNA. They connect to to ultrasonic acoustic waves rather than connecting to particles. So it's if you're observing this thought within that's turned into energy, that's turned into matter, and now it's in your solar plexus, it's charged. And if you keep observing it, and it's like when you're observing something, and now it knows that you're observing it, so it's like, oh, now I'm not going to do it. So there's this neutral zone where you're not thinking, you're not observing, you're not projecting, you're not absorbing, but you're just like letting go of the whole entire thing so it can actually manifest itself. And the art of us being just manifesting generators. So let me go back to that oil, that silver oil, the polypeptide protein being secreted by your hypothalamus gland. It's a thought seed, a photon, electron carrier. Electron's a photon carrier. This is being brought down into your seed. It's sprouting up into your energy. Now it's becoming part of your emotion, part of your matter, what matters most to you. And then it's charged in your solar plexus. So whenever an electron jumps from one space to the next space, and it's towards the proton charge within each space. So say you're at the root chakra here, and it's jumping, it's sprouting into energy, into matter, into your 44 sacrum. The gematria for sacrum equals 404. So now you're in your energy. So whenever it jumps from space to space, the electron gains energy but does not emit a photon, which is light. So it's gaining energy. So you're jumping from root chakra to your energy, your matter, your emotion, your ego mind. This is your ego mind here. So once you jump to the next space, to the proton, this is your solar plexus, this is where it actually gets charged. So you're charging your solar plexus at 528 hertz. So you can Google electron charge equation, and it'll show you 16 times 10 to the negative 19th power, which 10 to the negative 19th power equals negative 180 degrees, and that's flat ground. And you need a negative ground to maintain a charge. So 16 times 33 vertebrae, which your vertebrae column is connected to your legs, it's connected to your feet, which is connected to the ground. 33 times 16 equals 528 hertz solar plexus charged. So on this at the 44 hertz, I'm going to pull up the chart so you can see the visual here. So at the 44, we have 1188 hertz, which is the measurement of the Queen's chamber, including the gable at 11.88 cubits, and the base of the pyramid is at 440 cubits. So whenever you're digesting that protein, which is just a thought seed, and it's sprouting up into your energy, into your matter, 137.5 divided into 1188 the golden angle, the number of photon absorption, the number in an atom, physics in an atom, or the number of in an atom, it's 1188 divided by 137.5 equals 864, the diameter of the sun. So solar plexus charged. Your solar plexus is your inner sun. So we're digesting 99s. So your crown is at 1111. 1111 divided by 99 equals 1122, and that's so here we go. 1111 divided by your 99, which is the gematria for sulfur, the gematria for ions, the gematria for A, the all-mind in the Kabbalion, equals 1122. 1122 divided by 99 equals 1133. This happens all the way down until you get to 1177 divided by 99 equals 1188, Queen's Chamber. 1188 divided by 99 equals 12 notes in music. You have 12 cranial nerves that connect to your 44 sacrum. Let me pull up that sacrum chart again so you can see the actual bone of the sacrum. So yeah, you can see the bone of the sacrum has 4 holes on each side. So that's your 44. Those 12 cranial nerves hook up to these 4 holes. 44 times 12 equals 528 hertz. Once again. So this is no fluke in anything. So your sacrum is responsible for your karma, your cause and effect, your energy, your matter, your emotions, your ego mind. And this is where I have the hexahedron at 2160. Your root chakra, I have the tetrahedron at 720 degrees. Your solar plexus is your inner sun. There's no platonic solid for the solar plexus. It's just the sun, which is 864. 2160 times 4 equals 864. 720 tetrahedron times 3 equals 2160. So this is like it's so perfect how this little system works. It's just showing us that we're manifesting generators, that we receive thought through light. We get these ideas that we fall in love with and want to become. We want to master them and have them become us. And so I'm at the solar plexus now, 528 hertz. The only number that connects the electromagnetic color spectrum with the sound system. Your piezoelectric crystal technology, 32,768 beats per second. That's when sound ends in the human ear and the electrical, ultrasonic, acoustic, bioluminescent waves begin. Whenever you rub your eyes and you see that interference pattern of light, you're seeing this like white, kind of greenish light. Those are called phosophenes. Phosphorus. You're literally putting the Horus in phosphorus. Whenever you're in your solar plexus, you have 37 genomes that make up your mitochondria. Those 37 genomes, 13 of them are providing instructions to enzymes that are responsible for oxidative phosphorylation. Oxidative phosphorylation is the bioluminescent light within that's basically charging our DNA with this inner bioluminescent acoustic wave that's it's a quartz crystal technology. We all have an inner monologue, and whenever we're thinking to ourselves, we're not hearing our thoughts through our ears, we're hearing it from somewhere else. And it's very it's very mirroring of the technology of microphones and speakers, because you can't have a microphone or a speaker without quartz crystal technology. Take away your computers, take away all your little screens and your smartphones, your watches, TVs, computers, cables, and you're pretty much left with hardly any technology. All of our technology is quartz crystal technology. Your ultrasound transducer at the hospital, whenever you're pregnant and you're looking into the womb, you're seeing into the darkness. That's like looking into the darkness of your mind. Like, how do you see into somebody else's mind? You can't. Well, maybe I'm sure science is evil. Science has come up with ways to do psychic attack and look into people's thoughts and dreams and basically penetrate those areas where we're being implanted thoughts and ideas on a daily basis, to where I'm a channeler, and there's days where I literally have to just block everything because I feel like I'm being attacked and my original channel's not coming through, and I'm just getting all these old versions of self, all these doubts, like you're ugly, you're not good, all of this stuff is wrong, all these thoughts, to where it's just doubts, you're just hating on yourself. And when you can recognize that and cut it off and be like, hey, that's not me. I'm going back into my heart space. And when you worked with plant medicine or DMT, especially 5-MeO, that trains you to be able to know these spaces. Whenever I was microdosing 5-MeO for a good 3 months last year, and the first time that I did it, I didn't think that I took enough, so I like blasted the shit out of this pen, and it just sent me to the multiverse within the heart space. I was literally face to face with God, and I couldn't look at him because, I couldn't look at it because I couldn't comprehend it. I couldn't fathom what I was seeing. So I just like looked away, and I was like, I can't even. So whenever I was out of that, ever since I mastered microdosing with the DMT, anytime that I do breath work and really focus on my torus field as I'm breathing in, holding my breath into the heart vacuum, saying I love you to spirit of air. As I'm breathing out, I'm saying thank you to spirit of air. And it's like within 3 or 5 breaths, I start to feel that 5-MeO heart feeling, where it's like all my thoughts are gone, and I'm just in this super deep feeling of just, it's like the most pure form of unconditional love. And getting in that space is so powerful, because when you're in that space and you've done the work within all of your other spaces, and you know how the whole system works, and you know you've done enough work on self, nobody can tell you who you are. Nobody can label you anything, because they're literally basing what they're telling you or labeling you off of a surface glance, or just seeing you in this one moment, versus actually you've gone within every single space, and you have a story for your crown, you have a story for your third eye audio, you have a story for your inner monologue, your water, your vapor, your breath, your voice, your most impeccable word. You have a story for your heart space. You have a story for your solar plexus. You have a story for your sacrum and your roots, and then below your roots into your basement, you You have all these different dimensions within, and when you are consciously aware of these, you're a nine-dimensional being versus just thinking with your head, with your blinders on, and just repeating all the ideas that were ever taught to you in school and by your mom, your dad, your friends. Everybody's regurgitating the same story, the same narrative. Whenever you practice meditation and truly going within and working on your shadow self, whenever you can charge that energy up in your solar plexus and have it go up into your heart space, and you have all these resources of self-mastery, all these ideas that you've mastered, and they're basically cross-training resources for each other and new versions of self. Your heart space is like your alchemical pantry, where you're keeping all of your fermentations, all of your elixirs, all of your concoctions and coagulations and whatnot. You're an alchemist, and whenever you're secreting this oil from your mind, that's the sulfur. The sulfur it's an oil that's containing photons and electrons, and that's light from the stars, from the sun. That light is burnt off gases and burnt off sulfur that you're like you're digesting these like sulfur particles, and that's becoming the oil, that's becoming the thought, the photon, the seed. So you're literally transmuting sulfur and uncharged electrons into a charged electron that's your own creation. So if you know anything about the constellation of Orion, it looks like he's shooting an arrow at the Pleiades. So that Sirius energy, that Sirius sun energy is going into the Pleiades, and then the Pleiades, it's the bull. It's a bull. That arrow is getting shot to the auxiliary in, and then the bull is protecting the seven sisters, which are the seven chakras of that system, and then it's sending light to us. So we're constantly getting this radio star satellite information from the Pleiades constantly, and the whole all the shit with like the 5G towers and just the frequency manipulation, all the distractions here on Earth are to distract us from that radio star and our original source of our ancestry, and just the reciprocation of this cycle that goes all throughout the cosmos, and we receive it, and it's being blocked, and the truth is being hidden from us for thousands of years, ever since the fall of Egypt. If you look at if you read the Egyptian Book of the Dead and read about Sia and Hu, Sia is the feminine, Hu is the masculine. These are like the first concepts of the feminine and the masculine that they lived even before being actually in creatures' bodies. That feminine energy exists just up in the cosmos, and the masculine energy is reciprocating whatever that feminine energy is pulling in and generating. So on our crown, you have a negative cathode and a positive cathode. Okay? Now the negative cathode is pulling in electrons, right? It's going down, planting a seed, and coming back up, getting charged, going up into the heart space, and then coming back up and arcing back over. So you have your aux in and your aux out, just like on a stereo when you're plugging in the auxiliary in and the auxiliary out. So I have Taurus, the bull, on your auxiliary in, and I have the Pisces being your aux out. So whenever you're arcing, that oil that was charged in your solar plexus that's now golden oil. It's like your piezoelectric crystal charged oil is going up into your heart space, and it's the bioluminescent acoustic waves connecting to the DNA rather than the particles. Now this idea is mastered, it's part of you, and when this oil goes back up over the pineal gland and you're doing your breath work and you're letting go of everything, you're forgetting about that idea, you're not observing it, you're just in your so you're simulating death, you're simulating birth, you're simulating giving birth by doing this exercise here. And what it's doing is it's squeezing that pineal gland. Whenever you apply pressure to a crystal, if you like squeeze it with a pair of pliers, it's going to generate spark on the inside. So when that oil is passing over and you're getting that spark and igniting that oil, it's creating like a hydrogen gas, which is spirit. You're literally releasing your spirit back out into the ether, which is you're combining your heart ether with the cosmic ether. And whenever you're in these moments of manifesting your deepest heart's desires off of something that was just an idea, something that you feared and failed at for a good year, hundreds of times, and now it's a part of you, and now this thing that you once feared is something that you desire to do and literally just brings you so much joy and satisfaction. Whenever you arc that oil and it ignites and you create that hydrogen, and spirit sees this process from above, it gets inspired and sends you more, because you're basically in that super high gratitude feeling of accomplishing something that basically you had to go through hell accomplishing. So I'm gonna grab a drink. Thank you for your patience. I'm gonna go off track here for a second. I recently stopped using cannabis, and I quit for a couple weeks last month, and it's just been coming through to where I've smoked cannabis for a good 32 years, and it's just been a normal thing for me. I've never been a huge drinker, so my form of meditation and ceremony every day was smoking a little bit of cannabis, and she definitely got me through a lot of this channeling. And whenever I quit a month ago for 2 weeks, it was very uncomfortable, but also I felt super clear to where the first week I couldn't channel for the first week, and then after the second week I was starting to be able to channel again, and I was worried that I wasn't going to be able to channel not being on it. And lately I've just been feeling like I've gotten everything that I need out of that plant medicine to channel all the information that I have and put it together. And now I need to be a little bit more sharper to just have a different perspective and also get to know my new version of self, because like I said, I've been smoking that stuff for 32 years and haven't really even met who I've become throughout all the different versions of self each year that I've become. And this is one of my most important years where I feel like the growth through just all the information flooding in and making sense of it, organizing it. I've always just kind of drifted through life with no intention, and just doing enough to get by and still have a decent career and stuff. And now that everything's just like completely going to shit in the department of just the 3D, just the old way of life, all the things that I used to think were just how it was just isn't anymore. And all the stuff that's happening in Lahaina, the real estate agents immediately trying to get the land, the governor saying that the land is now the state's land, and all this just bullshit, complete bullshit. All these people just trying to confiscate the land and make these stupid smart cities, these 15-minute smart cities with smart cars and lithium mining and cobalt mining, and just putting the worst frequency in the Congo. It's the worst inhumane conditions in human history. And the biotech industry, all the piezoelectric crystal biotech, the implantable biotech, you can Google all the biotech that's being implanted in all these different ways through like insulin, vaxes, you name it. There is biotech implants for all these different things. And I would highly recommend checking out some of Robert Edward Grant's patents on some of his implantable biotech. That he's not in that industry anymore, but he's sold off those ideas to pharma. And it's not the what, it's the how. It's not the what, it's the how. I know that he's not the one telling them to use cobalt to tune the frequency of the piezoelectric crystal. So in watches, in ultrasound transducers, you have a little tuning fork in this thing. It's a little mini tuning fork, and it's a quartz crystal, piezoelectric quartz crystal that's shaped like a tuning fork. They add gold to this tuning fork, and they shave it down. They shave down that gold to where it's the perfect frequency of 32,768 beats per second. That's when sound ends in the human ear and electrical ultrasonic acoustic waves begin. It's the technology of ultrasound transducers. It's our technology of how we use our imagination looking into the womb. Once that oil's charged and goes up, we're literally a living meat projector, projecting our images of our ideas, of our memories, of that one thought that was just an idea. Couldn't see yourself doing it until you actually failed 100 times, and then you actually did it. Now you have the memory of it, and now it's going to be an image in your mind until the end of time. So this piezoelectric crystal quartz being shaped like a tuning fork and added gold to it, they shave it down to get that perfect frequency. That's what literally holds perfect time in your watch. That's what gets the ultrasound transducer to see into the womb. So you're running at this frequency. Your anterior brachium has a little mini tuning fork shaped antenna on this thing. It's like the gap on a spark plug. You want that gap to be perfect, so whenever the energy's passing through, you're going to get spark. You're going to get spark on that gap. A perfect spark. A perfect stator runs at 0.2 to 0.5 ohms. It's just like the 20 algebraic elements of and the 20 amino acids, the 20 algebraic elements of fermionic vacuum, your 5-fold Fibonacci sequence in biology and physics, connecting with the same numbers in electricity. We're literally magnetoelectric, piezoelectric, acoustic wave technology, and this whole reality is just a simulation. One big illusion simulation, and I wanna know some more about it. So there's your 528 hertz. Your solar plexus is charged. You are a Taurus. You are the Bible. Bi means two in etymology. Bowl is obviously a bowl. You're two of those bowls. You're a Taurus. So yeah, there's 13 enzymes. There's 37 genomes of the mitochondria in your solar plexus. 37 of those, or 13 of those provide instructions to enzymes that are responsible for oxidative phosphorylation. Oxidative phosphorylation happens in a 5-star mitochondrial matrix in your solar plexus. 5-star, 5 mirrored equals 55. The planet Venus takes 8 years to travel 13 times around the sun, creating the 5-star mandala. So you're at your solar plexus at 55, right? You have your 37 genomes in your mitochondria living in your solar plexus. 37 plus 73, the 12th prime plus the 21st prime equals 110 hertz, the root harmonic of 440 hertz. 55 chi, your solar plexus, plus 55 equals 110 hertz, root harmonic of 440 hertz in the second octave. The Earth-Moon ratio, or the full moons of 2023 this year were on 3-7, 5-5, and 7-3. Coincidence or phenomenon? The new moon solar eclipse, the hybrid solar eclipse that happened on 4/20, that was the 110th day of the year. 37 plus 73 equals 110. 55 plus 55 equals 110. You see what I'm saying? The cycles of the moon and the sun are all connected with our whole... What's going on inside here is mirroring on the outside. So the next up, we have 639 hertz at your heart chakra. Let me get this chart up here. Okay, so the heart chakra runs at 639 hertz. I have your dodecahedron lined up here. This is The number 15 is photon absorption. O is the 15th letter. The rune for the letter O is a V and X combined, which V and X in Roman numeral add up to 15. So 15 times 432 hertz equals 6480. Your heart chakra, your dodecahedron. Your gematria for Temple of Solomon equals 606. Tree of Life 606. Temple of Solomon 1170. The King's Chamber in the pyramid, the sarcophagus in the sarcophagus in the King's Chamber has a vibrational value of 117 hertz. Earth tilt 23.4 times 5 equals 117. Earth tilt 23.4 subtracted by 90 degrees square equals 66.6. Earth's velocity around the sun is 66,600 miles per hour. So I have 1144 hertz. Sorry. And then 1221 hertz here at the heart chakra. So, and then I have 66 here. So 1144 hertz plus 66 equals 1210. And I have Cancer lined up here at the heart chakra as well. So your summer solstice is your longest day of summer, or your longest day of sunlight, and your heart chakra is your center point, your 0 point, your heart vacuum. So it makes sense that Cancer lined up at the solar plexus, because 621 divided by 90 degrees square equals 6.9. The sun transits the sign of Cancer on 621, the longest day of the year. So Cancer sits at 90 degrees square on the zodiac wheel. You can Google this stuff and see it for yourself. 621 summer solstice divided by 90 degrees square equals 6.9. What's the matter with, what's the big deal with 6.9? It's a really good thing ruined by a period. It's a joke. But anyway, 690 minus 69 equals 621 summer solstice. So the next up, we have your throat chakra running at 741 hertz. 741 minutes equals 1221. Let me pull up the throat chakra chart. So I have 1133 and 1221, 77, 741 hertz. Where'd that go? 770 hertz and 741 hertz, all here at the throat chakra. And I've got videos of how I built the djed pillar towards the bottom of all the videos that I have on my video shorts. But yeah, 741 minutes equals 1221, winter solstice. The gematria for Christ equals 77. The gematria for djed, which is Thoth, equals 77. This is your inner monologue. Whenever you're thinking to yourself, your thought, which is Thoth, is your fucking inner monologue. You're hearing something, you're hearing a voice coming from somewhere else that's not going through your ears. It's the piezoelectric crystal technology. The piezoelectric crystal vibrates at 32,768 beats per second. 1221 divided by the golden angle, photon absorption, equals 888. Earth-moon ratio equals 1221 divided by 333. 1221 minus 333 equals 888. Piezoelectric crystal, 32,768 beats per second divided by 888 equals 369. You're speaking this 369. Whenever you open up Pandora's box, your voice sound resonance, that's 3. The twin triangle enfoldings, that's 6 with 6 points of 2 triangles. Your 9 cartilages of the larynx. The twin enfoldings, those 2 twin triangles, are what cause the vibration whenever you speak. So the Mayan calendar ended on 12/21 of 2012. Plus 550 weeks, solar plexus, equals 7/7, like 7/7 of 2023. That just happened, and on the calendar I have, I'm not going to get in the calendar. 550 weeks equals 3,850 days. 385 divided by 5, full Fibonacci sequence, equals 77. 3,850 days equals 92,400 hours. On the calendar, 1133 hertz lines up with 924, September 24th. I already had this lined up before I even found this shit. For all this to line up it's literally incredible. It's phenomenal. So, your crown, 1111 minus your 730, your 21st prime, just adding a 0 to it, equals 381. 381 minutes equals 621 summer solstice. 741 minutes equals 1221 winter solstice. 1221 plus 183 days equals 621 summer solstice. 183 days mirrored equals 381. 381 minutes equals 621. So the symmetry behind this mirror realm it's just beyond anything that I've ever seen. So I have 3600 icosahedron here. This is the platonic solid that represents water. Whenever you speak or breathe, you have vapor in your breath. I have the sign Aquarius on the back side of the Taurus. I have the Gemini on the front side, which 2 sevens mirrored is literally the gem in I. The twin triangular enfoldings is the gem in I. So your 741 0 minus 3600 equals 381 minutes equals summer solstice. So your water is basically also your frequency whenever your voice sound resonance. We speak frequency into energy. So that's the throat chakra there. Let's see what else I got here. Yeah, your Pythagorean triangle, your Pythagorean right triangle, 345, right triangle. Summer solstice is 172 to 173 days. 172 plus 173 equals 345. 345 plus 345, Pythagorean right triangle, equals 690. Summer solstice. 690 minus 690 minus 69 equals 621 summer solstice. My 181 monogram, 181. If you see my charts, check out the 181 monogram. 365 days minus 3 days of solstice equals 362 divided by 2 equals 181. Your 181 constant. This is derived from the Remo story of the Lemuria. Romo takes the life of his twin sister Remus. The masculine principle shuns and kills off the feminine principle, And this frequency's been running since the days of Sumeria. Remus mirrored is Sumer. So the start of the Lemuria is on 5/9. It's after the 128th day. So 5/9 plus 5/9 equals 118, plus 63 equals 181, plus 630 equals 811. 630, June 30th, is the 181st day. It's the 181, 181st day of the year. 811, that's the 141st prime number. In time, 141 to 811 equals 6 hours and 30 minutes. Or if you go a whole nother round again, it equals 18 hours and 30 minutes, like 183 minutes equaling, or 183 days between winter and summer solstice, and 630 equaling 181 days. So check this shit out. It also, 141 in time to 811 also equals 18.5 hours. 18.5 divided by 5 equals 37 degrees in Freemasonry. 141 divided by 3 equals 47 degrees in Freemasonry. So this number, 811, the date 811 is the 223rd day of the year, mirroring 322, Skull and Bones fraternity. So very significant number. The day of the Fukushima disaster on 3/11, the day that they released COVID on 3/11. That's the 69th day of the year and 181 days after 9/11. So let that sit with you for a bit. So 181 times 3 equals 543, mirroring the 3-4-5 Pythagorean right triangle. The 12th harmonic in 440 hertz is 132. The 21st harmonic in 440 hertz equals 231. 132 plus 231 equals 363. 231 minus 132 equals 99. Earth-Moon ratio equals 363 divided by 99 equals 3.6666666. On leap year, there are 366 days. Minus 3 days of solstice equals 363. So 181 times 3 equals 543. The reverse Pythagorean triangle versus 3-4-5 versus 543. 543 minus 132 hertz equals 411. 345 minus 231 equals 114. Yep. So the start of the Lemuria, this is what I was forgetting. The start of the Lemuria is on 5/9, after the 128th day. So check this shit out. 5/9 plus 5/9 equals 118. 118 plus 63 equals 181. 181 plus 630 equals 811. 630, June 30th, is the 181st day of the year. So 5/9, the start of the Lemuria, plus 5/9 equals 118. See how that works? Now, 1028 is the 301st day of the year. Remember, 128 days, after 128 days is 5/9. It's not the 120, it's after the 128th day. But check this out. 1028 is the 301st day of the year. Now 301 is the 59th day of the year. The Lemuria, 5/9. But wait, there's more. 181 minutes equals 301. The date 301 is the 59th day. So see how this just keeps recycling itself? This math in the calendar system is derived off of that frequency. The middle day of the Lemuria, 5/11, is actually the 132nd day of the year. 131st day of the year and 132nd day on leap year. 811 minutes equals 1.131 in time, which also converts to 1331. And using Jungian math, where you're using sigil math, when you combine those when you mirror those threes and combine them, you get your 181 constant. So 1331 divided by 363 is another Earth-Moon ratio. So 741 hertz plus 174 hertz plus 417 hertz, also Frederick tones within, equals 1332 minus 1. There's your 1331. You have 88 keys on a piano. Got 88 keys on a piano. 15 is a perfect fifth. 15 divided by 2 equals 75, or 7.5. You can just drop the decimal points, 7.5. So 88 keys, there's 7 white keys and 5 black keys, like 75. 360, which is a circle, minus 75 equals 285 hertz. And solfeggio tone below the root chakra, 285 hertz divided by 5-fold Fibonacci equals 57, mirroring 75. Ground, 180 degrees ground, 750 minus 180 degrees ground equals 570. 15 equals O. It's a perfect fifth. 88 times 15 equals 1320, the 12th harmonic in 440 hertz. 12 times 12 equals 144. 12 times 11 equals 132. So it's basically the bridge out of 440 hertz, which the 1320 exists on the crown above the 99, above the 963 hertz. It's basically source, and it's also 132 is also a solfeggio key, because 396 hertz plus 132 hertz equals 528 hertz. So it's like 111 hertz, 528 hertz plus 111 equals 639 hertz. So that key, also the 75, like 132 minus 75 equals 57. That's another mirror. So that 88 times 15 equals 1320 minus 570 equals 750. If you look at my charts, I have all this stuff lined up to where it's just this perfect symmetry of numbers, and the way that it connects with the calendar it's insane, because 57 plus 57 equals 114. When you mirror 114, you get 411, which the fine structure constant 137 times 3 equals 411. And whenever you count the days, it's the 101st day and 75 hertz on my chart, whenever you're counting back from 1221 hertz equaling 1221, the actual date. So, and then when you get to 5/7, May 7th, it's 101 hertz. 101 hertz on 5/7, and on 4/11 equaling 75 hertz equals 101 days. The symmetry and synchronicity of that is insane. 5/7 is the 101st, 101 hertz. 5/5 is 99 hertz. 5/7 is 101 hertz. So 5/7 plus 101. First off, 101, the gematria for portal, doorway, tree of life, temple of Solomon, temple of soul, Om, On, all equal 101. It's basically your like lowest root chakra, and it's also the lowest root of the cosmos that connects to you as well. So 1057 equals 101 hertz on my calendar. 57 times 101 equals 5757. So whenever you add all 7 solfeggio tones together, 963 plus 852 plus 741 plus 639 plus 528 plus 417 plus 396 hertz equals 4536. 4536 divided by 7 chakras equals 6480. Your heart dodecahedron DNA. 4536 plus 648 equals 5184. Your angle necessary to perceive light refraction. Your perfect fifth, 77 times 5 equals 360. 72 times 72 equals 5184. The angle needed to perceive light refraction is built into the pyramids of Giza. So whenever you see a double rainbow going up, that angle, if it's at 5184 on both sides, whenever it meets at the tip, that's going to be the height of the twinned rainbow. Light refraction is happening, and your eyeballs are liquid crystal. Whenever the light is going through and going inside of your eye, it's like going through a crystal. You're getting that same geometry where it's creating an X cross within. Everything that's going in is upside down. By the time that it gets to your brain, it goes right back side up again to where you're seeing the original image. But knowing how all this stuff works so you can understand the process of manifestation whenever you're getting these ideas, and you know what it takes now to actually bring them into reality. You can't just sit there and just wait for it. You have to put effort into it. You have to fail. You have to get emotion involved to where if you're just trying to manifest something that doesn't require like an actual physical act, you're just trying to materialize money or opportunities or whatever, that's a whole different thing to where you're kind of trying to fake the reality and match that feeling of already having it and putting on that act to where you're kind of tricking the universe to bring that same frequency back to you and mirror it back to you. So there's a couple different styles of manifestation and degrees of manifestation versus things that are really super hard to manifest and things that are kind of like non-physical, but you're bringing that energy into your reality. And one of my greatest mistakes is having too much on my plate at once and trying to manifest too many things at once to where it kind of is chaotic, and all the manifestations will just kind of be sporadic, chaotic, and half-ass, versus whenever I'm really just focusing on one basic thing at a time, those things easily manifest. And it's just how much are you putting on your plate for yourself to manifest something. So we went through the crown, we went through the third eye audio, we went through the heart into the seed planting, how it sprouts up into energy. We explained how an electron jumping from one space to another space towards the proton gains energy, doesn't release a photon. Now your solar plexus charged, and now you're jumping from your solar plexus into your heart space, away from that proton, away from the charge. Now that you're moving away from the charge, you're losing energy, but you're emitting light each space that you jump. So you're jumping from your solar plexus to your heart space. You just emitted off light and lost some of the energy. That makes sense. You can literally Google this shit. So you're in that oxidative phosphorylation state, your 5-star mitochondrial matrix of those 13 genomes that were providing the instructions for oxidative phosphorylation to that 5-star mitochondrial matrix. Now you're creating this bioluminescent acoustic wave piezoelectric crystal technology light up into your DNA. This thought's become you now, and it literally lost energy going up there, but it's releasing this bioluminescent acoustic wave light. So when you jump from the heart space to the throat, now you're ready to start speaking these experiences and telling the story of how you saw the idea, how you failed, how you feared it, that fear turned into desire, and your will, your want of wanting to do this thing, and it's turned into your self-mastery. So you've mastered this thing, and now it's part of your DNA. You have all these other resources of other things that you mastered, and this is your bioluminescent light. Before you speak this into existence or whatever, if you've already spoken to an existence, this all still exists. This is your alchemical pantry of your heart. You go back down into the roots with this bioluminescent light. This is your higher light. When you bring this bioluminescent light down into your solar plexus, and then down into your sacrum, and down into your roots, where the fire is burning, and you have this lower, darker light. It's the trees that you have down there, the rocks, anything that you have, old versions of self that are down here, and that fire is shining a light on those things. It's also casting shadows of the unknown. New versions of self, old versions of self, things that you just didn't really look too deep into. You have these shadow selves within, and when you can bring that heart lamp down there and cast the light on those shadows with your heart mind, rather than that root mind telling you you're ugly, you can't do this shit, like you're just going to be one of these old versions of self telling you everything that you don't want to hear, and you bring that light down here, and you have your heart mind down in your roots. That's the greatest healing, when you're bringing your heart, also your inner monologue, your breath, your voice, your thought is part of your heart. When it's going down into your roots and you're adding water, you're adding stillness and breath, you're basically watering your soil, and you're watering all the seeds that you have planted for newer versions of self. When you have this higher perspective, this higher crown self that's observing the observer and the thinker within, that this relationship of masculine and feminine that's existing within, this I versus me. The I, when thinking, is the masculine. The me, when thinking, is the feminine. So whenever you're saying to yourself, if you ever catch yourself saying, I need to do this for me, that's literally your masculine is wanting to honor your feminine. When you say that, I need to do this for me. How many times do you ever say that? That's the whole point of reading the Kabbalion and learning the 7 Hermetic principles and the law of gender. It's to have that higher self, to look within and monitor the conversation that's going on. But before I read the Kabbalion, I was a fucking mess. Once I was thinking in terms of degrees and having this higher observer, noticing a masculine and feminine within, I literally, the more that I started observing the way that I talked to myself, the more that I noticed that I was literally my mom and dad arguing and fighting. The way that they treated each other, that's the way that I talked to myself. I literally was born right into a divorce, where my first memory was walking into the house that we grew up in as a family, and that was the last thing that I remember doing as a family. My mother was being cheated on by my father. She suspected it and caught him over at some lady's house down the street, some neighbor. And but being a little sponge, an innocent baby, I was absorbing all of that divorce cycle energy. my mother was raped by her father when she was a little child growing up in Italy, and he used to give her like sleeping pills before she'd have to go to school, so she'd just sleep in, and he just like rape her all day. Like as a kid, he took her virginity to where she didn't get to like have experience having that first kiss or like falling in love and any of that shit. He literally robbed her of all that stuff. And this guy grew up in Italy. He owned like multiple jewelry shops and was like a rich asswad is what he was. If I would have ever met this guy, I would have probably beat him to the ground, and I'd probably be in jail right now. So good thing I never met him, because he would have been fucked. But now I forgive the asshole, and I send him healing energy, because he was probably influenced by some other piece of shit that showed him these ways. And growing up in Italy and being involved with the Catholic Church and the Vatican and all that shit, like his father was all involved in that, and that is just like the prime source of all evil all around the world is coming out of that building, and the people that are running that shit. Yeah, I'm definitely not into organized religion. And what do I think of Jesus? He's just an allegory of your Christ crystal consciousness within, which is just a frequency. And yeah, Jesus died at age 33. Caesar was stabbed 33 times, 44 years before Christ. 33 plus 44 equals 77. Right after Caesar died, that's when Romo killed Remo, and the whole frequency of Rome started. And yeah, it's lame. It's a frequency that's been the cancer to the collective consciousness since the fall of Egypt, since the fall of Rome. And yeah, we're still, whoever is running the government and whoever is running the world is definitely using these same rituals and these same numerical these bullshit cycles of the 181 and the 440 hertz. 621 summer solstice minus 181 equals 440 hertz. Like this shit just, it's stupid. So let's talk about the day that I channeled the 181 1144 monogram. If you can see that there, I channeled that on 5/19 of 2022. Now what's crazy is 5/19 plus 222 equals 741 hertz. 519 days equals 74 weeks in one day, like 741 hertz. 741 equals 1221 minutes, or 741 minutes equals 1221. 1221 plus 519 equals 1740 hertz. 1221 days equals 174 weeks. When you let's see, 519 is after the 138th day. 519 plus 519 equals 1038. Drop the 0, you get your 138. 519 plus 519 minus 138 equals 381. 381 minutes equals 621 summer solstice. Mirror 519, you get 915. Divided that by 5-fold Fibonacci, you get 183. 183 days in between winter solstice and summer solstice. And yeah, like that shit just keeps going and going. The synchronicity behind channeling that sigil, which it's the frequency that's been fucking shit up. It's the 181 is literally our sigil. Ow. Oh, I just hit my kneecap on the corner of the table. So that's literally us, like that 181 sigil. That's the 8. These are basically the Kundalini spiral cut up into little pieces, and they represent these number values. The parentheses equal 11. 22, 33. You can do that with the 101. It literally creates the spine. The Kundalini spiral and the spine. That's the 181 monogram, which is us. Yeah, it's this mathematics that's been hidden from us, being used into the calendar system, super ritualized and just being hoarded and kept secret. All this Gnostic black magic and ceremonial ritualistic stuff that's been going on behind our backs. I'm seeing so much of the collective intuitively waking up to this shit. I've been sitting on this for a year now and hardly being able to speak any of it because it's out there. And now that I've done all the work organizing all this to where now I've got it all on video and slides to where now I can explain it and teach it versus having it all up here and only having a certain amount of charts to explain things out of context. I had to take a good 2 months and go back in and finish all this stuff to where now it's time. I feel I haven't felt more obligated to do videos and start teaching than ever. The past 2 days I've been just spreading love to Lahaina, literally just sending love to the collective and sending this information out to the collective. And it's been a really tough time because once I finished everything, it was almost like I went back into this fog and had to digest all this shit and reintegrate it by myself without actually speaking it or teaching it. Whenever I'm doing these videos and teaching this stuff, it's like I'm reintegrating it, another layer of it, to where when I go back and watch these videos, I'm learning some other stuff, or I'm seeing a mistake that I made to where I'm like, oh, there's a mistake. And just you're constantly just building on this build, and whatever you're creating off of the mathematics of who you are. Like my mathematics, I was born on 11/18, November 18th, 1977 at 8:28 a.m. Now, 69 times 12 equals 828. On my calendar chart, 11/18, 12/21 winter solstice lines up with 12/21 hertz, right? And you count that back, 12/10 lines up with 12/10 hertz on my chart. And then you count that back, 12/21 minus 33 hertz equals 11/88 hertz. 12/21 minus 33 days equals 11/18, my birthday. So 11/18, whenever you're counting back from 12/21 and you get to January 1st, or you get to January 26th, that's 137 days after 9/11, and that's when it lands on 0 hertz. So when you start counting 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hertz, when you get up to 69 hertz going backwards in time, 69 hertz lands on 11/18, my birthday. So 11/88 hertz and 69 hertz are my birthday. So 69 times 12 equals 828. The sun travels around the Milky Way galaxy at 828,000 miles per hour. My grandmother died on the 117th day of the year. It's April 27th. The night that she died, she struck this giant, it was her favorite tree in our front yard. She struck it down by lightning. I remember I was like 3 years old. The next day my dad was chopping that tree, chopping it up. It was laid out on the street and on the ground, and I remember seeing this big giant green caterpillar inside the trunk. And so the number 117 is a huge number in electromagnetism. If you look at my video shorts, you'll see the blue and red electrical pillars, and the number 117 is highlighted right in the middle, being a very, like, the most important number in electromagnetism. Earth tilt 23.4 times 5 equals 117. So 828 minus 117 equals 711. It's your mirror. So 621, 172 days, 172 minutes equals 252. 252 plus 252, let me make sure I'm getting this right. 2 plus 252 plus 117 equals 621. So 621 minus 252 minus 252 equals 117. So 621 divided by 90 degrees equals 6.9. That's when the sun transits Cancer, right? 621 plus 90 degrees equals 711, mirroring 117. So this, whoever created the calendar it's some super advanced high intelligence. I'm convinced it's the Anunnaki or some like alien intelligence, because my channel, my guide tells me that the original knowledge was stolen and just manipulated to where the shamans were the first ones to discover the sun transiting Cancer on 90 degrees on 621, and they were the ones that created those sigils and symbols that represented our sigil system. And once those people were wiped out and somebody got a hold of this knowledge, it's been manipulated and fabricated and just turned completely against us, to where it's all ritualized behind our backs using these super advanced equations and into the calendar, to where there's all these special days in the calendar that coordinate with our chakra hertz. And holy shit, this month of July was there's so much ritualistic magic happening in that month. It's a huge manifestation month. And now that I'm seeing all the things that are being done, because as I'm discovering this stuff, I'm seeing what's being done and used with it, to where now, like, I've been documenting and creating the story, to where now that it's done, I can like put it on the back burner and zoom out and be like, what is all this? Like, what is going on here? Because whenever I was trying to figure out the whole entire calendar and the chakra system, the djed pillar, lining up everything, it was just, I almost had just too much on my plate, to where I just got as much done as I could, organized it, and just put everything away. And now I'm just kind of in digestion mode, to where I'm done looking at this collective wound, and now we're back in the healing mode of it and solution mode, versus having to exposing all this shit. It's painful. You're seeing, it's like being in a relationship with somebody that you trusted and loved for 30 years, and then somebody's exposing all the truth that's been going on behind your back, and it's fucking heartbreaking. It is hard. That's what I've been, this past 2 weeks, I've just felt the deepest heartbreak. And I don't know if it's the collective, if it's the old earth. I'm just trying to pinpoint, like, where is this feeling coming from? It's coming from so deep. And I feel like it's the collective womb. It's the collective negative space, where we, like, all the original Akashic records and ideas and all the real sacred truth, it's just wanting to come out so bad. And it's fucking heartbroken seeing all the shit that's going on around the world, all the greed and all these real estate cocksuckers trying to snatch up the land of Lahaina, like that makes me want to just lose my shit and go hunting for motherfuckers. I am so over people being treated like fucking animals, like we're nothing when we are everything. We are so much more than these pieces of shit that run the world. So much more than them. They literally get off on causing us to fear, causing us to depend on them. Whenever you control the narrative, you control the agriculture, the land, the food, and the narrative, and the mathematics. That's all the power that you need to manipulate an entire collective consciousness. Controlling the language. The language is, our alphabet is derived from Gothic, Norfolk, Anglo-Saxon runes. If you haven't studied Anglo-Saxon runes and etymology and like the first meanings of the first symbols way back in the day and the evolution of just the first sounds, the first word that we hear, everybody hears, is mother's heartbeat when you're in the womb. Tutum, 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 tutum. That's why the drum is so sacred. It's literally representing mother's heart resonance. So for a man to say that a man god gave the first word, it's complete bullshit. Complete and utter bullshit. The first sound that every human hears is their mother's heart resonance, and that sound is circular. When sound comes out, it's creating a circle, like when you're throwing a pebble into a pond, it's creating circular ripples of waves. And a lot of these stupid mathematicians like to get that waveform and put it in a box to where you at least like this, see this two-dimensional sine wave view of it, whenever that sine wave is actually a circle representing O, representing 15 photon absorption. So knowing the first symbols and what they meant in the very beginning of when languages were first created is so paramount in understanding the language that we speak out of context today. This is a Lemurian quartz crystal that my mom brought me from Hawaii. She went to Kauai and brought me this back. It's got a natural 7-face channel face on front with a twin scepter on the back with a triangle on the back of that scepter. This thing's a super special quartz crystal. It's got a Lemurian, if you can see that barcode on there, whenever you feel that barcode and rub it, information comes through. So you get this 7-sided face and you put your fingers on it like so and put this up to your third eye and do your little meditation and try to just tap in and quiet all your senses. And I was shown this 16 years ago whenever I bought this trans-channeling quartz crystal, which has 3 of those 7-sided faces with a triangle directly in back. So this trans-channeling crystal literally transmits and receives information whenever it just has one of the faces as a 7-sided face with a triangle in the back, and the other 2 are like 5-faced or whatever. It's only a channeling crystal. You'll get ones with 2 7-sided faces and then like a 5-sided face, and that's just a channeling. The ones with the 2 are the transmitting crystal. The one with just the one with just one 7-sided face is just a channeling crystal. When that's all 3, it's a trans channeling. We our trans-channeling piezoelectric crystal technology. We're receiving and we're transmitting, we're projecting what we're creating from this light source that we perceive here. So this is a very rare piece of citrine. I don't know exactly where it's from. It just said very rare in the case. So this here is African citrine. This one here is very good attractor for wealth. The citrine crystal is the only crystal besides kyanite here. Kyanite and citrine are the only two crystals that only hold a positive charge. They'll never hold a negative charge. So whenever I've done mushrooms and I'm like done with my night and I'm trying to go to sleep, and it's one of those batches that's kind of just a darker batch to where when you close your eyes you're seeing like decomposing and death, and it's kind of just a gnarly visual to have whenever you're trying to go to sleep. I'd grab this kyanite and just hold it by my heart, and my visual completely changed to the opposite, to where I'm seeing the growth and the beauty and the colors. So once I let go of it, back to those same other visuals of decomposing. This is a channeling crystal. See how it only has the 5-sided face on the other side there, and the 1-7 on the back. And this has a little marker on it. I'm trying to remember what those markers are called. It's like a little etching. But these things get inclusions in them. A lot of these I bought clear, and the more that you do work with them, you'll start to get these like phantoms, and if you can see that reflection on the inside, that's like an inclusion or a phantom, to where you'll start getting just information starts passing through these things. But you can only imagine a little tiny crumb of a crystal is in your smartphone, holding in all those apps and all that information, all those gigabytes of data. Imagine how much information a crystal like this would hold. In Egypt, they found these giant altars that are, the whole entire altar is made out of one quartz crystal. So you can only imagine the ceremonies and rituals that they're performing, and like what they're manifesting on a on a group level back then. And yeah, I feel like we're due for that kind of life, where we're back living in community village type setups, sitting by the fire, telling stories, having these ceremonies on our altars, and with good intentions of progressing and being in sync with the spirit of water, the spirit of soil, the spirit of air, ether, bringing the honor back into technology, bringing the honor back into all of the elements that we just completely just shit on. Taking shits in water, like we need to get back into the permaculture, and the future in housing, I strongly believe, is earthships collecting rainwater, using that water as your shower water and sink water that goes through a filtration system, using that gray water to go through your indoor garden, and that water drains and goes into your toilet. That toilet water goes out into the outdoor natural septic that's going into the garden, your outdoor garden. And there's so many methods that are working with these earthships that these homes literally take care of themselves, and they provide year-round food and water, and you're basically having zero waste, and you're creating, we're building back the soil again, versus all these corporations and GMO crops they're patenting their crops to where everywhere they grow, they're just destroying the soil. Not to mention the 75% of deforestation that's destroyed all the soil around the United States. All that 75% of forest and trees, all the water that those roots held and slowly distributed the minerals down the soil into the land, all destroyed. So like 75% of the forest, so that's 75% of the soil being contaminated on our precious land. My intention with all of this is just to raise awareness, consciousness. The more that we know, the more that we can share our stories, our most authentic story. The more that you go in and do the work, knowing all those spaces within, nobody can tell you who you are. When somebody tries to tell you who you are, you literally can just like laugh and not even respond to those lower causes. Like you're living on this higher cause now, to where all these lower causes, you just look at them like I'm not even going to be affected by that lower cause, because once you're affected by that lower cause, now you're on that level. So like living on this higher pendulum swing, to where there's all these different levels of pendulum swings when you're thinking in terms of degrees, versus rather than thinking in terms of just extreme opposing poles, which the majority of people out there, they're just thinking in extreme opposing poles versus in terms of degrees. There's so many degrees of opposing extreme poles. That's the ladder of vibration. Whenever you're knowing that there's so many different degrees to two different polarities, you basically take away the whole entire polarity, knowing that hate isn't the opposite of love, it's just the absence of love. Darkness is not the opposite of light, it's just the absence of light. So I think I'm gonna end it on that note, and all I ask for you guys is pray for Lahaina, pray for the elements of the earth, the spirit of soil, the spirit of air, the spirit of ether. Tap into yourselves. Look within, have that higher observer, observing the I and the me, having the conversation within the masculine and the feminine. Notice the heart vacuum is your 0 point. This is the divine feminine gate. Your heart mind needs to be honored by your masculine mind. It needs to be honored by everything that you're manifesting out is your masculine, and that masculine needs to honor the original creator within, and that's your heart space, your 0 point vacuum. So, I love all of you. Practice your breath work. Send your positive vibes out to Lahaina. If you know anybody out there, individually donate to them. Do not donate to Red Cross. Do not donate to FEMA. They're just hoarding the shit and not giving them the supplies to the people. Be the change that you want to see in the world. I'm going to be back doing these lives very consistently now, and I'm pretty much done with all the number charts and whatnot. Like at least creating them to where now I can actually explain what this stuff is versus it all being in my head, and now it's actually out on paper and in video. So, but the main focus now is progressing, solutions, healing. The wound has been completely opened up and we can see into it now collectively. And I can't do any of this by myself. I need all of you. I need everybody that's supporting this movement to help with your thoughts, your affirmations, holding down the vibe. Like I know right now is an extremely tough time. I'm feeling that same pain where the collective is just like crying and sad, and we're mourning the loss of a sacred land being destroyed with the most evil of intentions, heartless intentions, soulless intentions, and we can all feel it. And the more that we stick together and tell the stories, keep doing our inner work and holding down the vibe, like it's okay to feel sad, but try to get back into that neutral state to where you're uh, you're not observing too much, you're not thinking too much, but you're just in a balanced. Just try to stay balanced, because you can be too emotional, you can have too much heart, you can have too much ego, you can have too much mind, you can have too much of anything. But when you keep it all balanced and you try to stay in that neutral zone where you're not thinking and not observing, that's an important part of manifestation. And we're trying to manifest this new world collectively, and all of our different perspectives. And um, yeah, it's like 8 billion people, 8 billion different perspectives in different worlds. But how many people are the 144,000 of the collective that are truly ascending? 144,000 different perspectives and minds trying to help manifest and create the new world. Uh, the more that we share our stories and are doing our work, deciphering our own code, creating our own ciphers, to where you have a reference and you're not just throwing a bunch of shit and just making shit up. The more organized we become with this new knowledge that's just flooding the collective right now, the more that we're going to be a force. And that force is a divine feminine force being honored by a divine masculine force. And the creative force that's coming out is the new frequency that's going to just, whenever I hold this frequency down, I'm out in public and I see somebody running at a lower frequency and they're around the group, I'll observe this person and just watch them not be able to be around the area that we're in, to where they can't be around the frequency. When you hold this 432 hertz, just this higher heart resonant frequency, those lower vibrational beings cannot be around that shit. So the more of us that just keep holding this frequency constantly, consistently, it's going to be with grace and ease how we flip the script on this shit. Let go of all micro-vengeance. We can't have any type of retaliation. Like, we're protecting what we love with passion and love, and that's the energy that we gotta hold down. Is we're protecting what we love and what we know is sacred, what we fucking feel in our hearts is sacred. That's the mission. I love all of you, and I appreciate it if you've watched this all the way through, and I'm excited to be back doing videos again, because I have not thought about doing one in over 2 months, because I just did not want to be speaking any of this knowledge as I was learning it out of context. And I need all of you to be able to integrate this for myself and for each other, And I want to give thanks to a lot of people out there that have helped inspire me to do this. I'm not going to name any names. I'm just going to give thanks in my own mind of all the women and men that have been doing the work and being of service and inspiring me to be of service as well. Thank you. Love you. Have a beautiful day. Have a beautiful night. And let's go out there and change things for the best.